This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast, and as always, we are here to give you our opinions on 80s and 90s media. Do not forget to email us at podcast@overduehomework.com. Trav, how are you doing?
Really good, dude.
Good.
I just had like a 5-day vacation,
Hell
long
yeah,
weekend.
hell
Like,
yeah.
just came off. It was pretty sweet. And Lauren had to go to Chicago for a bachelorette thing, so it was just me and Doug.
Chi-Town, the Windy Apple.
Doing a lot of movie watching and a lot of game playing.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
How about you?
Really good. I was off as well. We went on a little family vacay with my parents and my sister's family to the Great Wolf Lodge.
Nice.
It was just up in the cities. You know that hotel with all the
Water slides
yeah,
coming out.
you can see from 494. That's the Great Wolf Lodge.
Boom.
That's where we went. It was a lot of fun. It was actually my sister's family and our family's Christmas gift from my parents this year. We went there for Cameron's birthday. He turned 2 on the 13th.
Happy birthday,
Yeah,
Cam.
little Cammy 13th on the 13th. It was a lot of fun. It's it's a water park. It's an arcade. It's a there's a bowling alley. There's a ropes course. There's all types of stuff to do there. And Tom and Roberta, my parents, they sprung for the whole package.
Nice.
We could do whatever we wanted the whole time we were there.
Did you do some bowling?
We didn't, unfortunately, because it's just that duck pin bowling, so it's like the smaller bowling alley.
Okay.
And only one of the 4 lanes was working while we were there.
Oh,
so it's like, well,
bummer.
I'm not, and it's first come, first serve. You get
Sure.
these like tokens to put into the machine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not wasting time standing for like 2 hours waiting.
Right,
to go
and then
play
the
some-
pressure to like hurry the hell up and get up there.
So we didn't do that. But it was a lot of fun. Cameron loved the water park. Evelyn loved the water park. My nephew Jack, he loved the water park. They had a lazy river that went around the whole outside of the water park, which is where we spent the majority of our time.
For sure.
Which, there was never enough tubes for everybody in the lazy river, so you kind of just got into it and just went through the river. And Cameron loved that, just holding on to Cameron while we're in there the whole time. And Jack, it was really funny. So when we got there, we checked in at 4 p.m. We got there at like 1 in the afternoon, because once you get there, you pseudo kind of check in, and you still have access to everything until your room is ready.
Sure.
So immediately we all got into the pool, obviously. And there's like an area for like younger kids, the lazy river, a tidal or a wave pool, and then like a couple of the really large slides. My nephew Jack would not get wet. He was like, I don't want to go. He just wouldn't do it. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a long weekend if Jack doesn't want to get wet at the water park. Eventually, we got him to get into the lazy river, and that's where he spent most of his time. Like, I swear to God, dude, I must have done, like, over the 2 days that we were in the water, I must have done, like, 50 laps or more in that thing. Honestly, my feet were, like, raw from the bottom of the pool. It was a lot of fun. We got a cabana the second day. My parents got a cabana, which if you go to the Great Wolf Lodge out there, listeners, get a cabana.
Nice.
Otherwise, it's just like pure chaos trying to find a place to put your stuff.
Yeah.
It was totally worth it. Our cabana was like probably 15 feet away from the lazy river at one of the turns of the lazy river. So cool, we can just jump in the lazy river, blah, 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 blah. We are just hanging out in the cabana. Everybody's out of the pool. We're getting some food, just hanging out. Kristen and I look away from Cameron for less than 5 seconds. He makes a beeline for the lazy river and jumps in. Which he's 2.
Yeah.
He can't swim.
Definitely not.
It's like 3.5 feet deep. Luckily, a guy saw him make a beeline for it and dove in and got him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so my 2-year-old son almost drowned on his birthday.
My God.
So that's
at the Great Wolf Lodge.
At the Great Wolf Lodge. So that is a poor parenting moment, I guess. Literally, it was like 5 seconds. Kristen like turned around and saw him like jumping in.
Yeah.
Like it was just pure panic mode.
And basically slow-mo.
Yeah,
but nothing
basically
you guys can do about it.
And the guy was like, "Oh, here's your kid." And we're like, "Thank you so much." He's like, "I didn't think he was going to jump in, but then he jumped in."
Well, he is fearless.
He is fearless. He really loved the water, and it was It was a lot of fun for everybody, and I'm glad we got to do it. I would go back and go to the Great Wolf Lodge again, but I don't know if I would like spring for all of the gotta get everything, gotta do everything. It was a lot to try to cram into basically 2.5 days. But it was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend the Great Wolf Lodge.
You found out you have a future lifeguard on your hands.
Yeah. I mean, something at least. Got to keep an eye on that kid. That's for sure. Got to keep an eye on that kid. So he didn't drown, so that was good.
That's a good thing.
It was a successful not drowning weekend.
We probably wouldn't be recording this right now.
That is the truth. I was physically like head to toe sore from being in the pool all weekend.
On the lazy river.
Yeah, so I have a fairly physical job. I'm on my feet all
obviously.
day. I walk, for a good portion of the day. But man, I need to work some more cardio into my life, I think, because man, I was exhausted, head to toe exhausted the next 2 days. All right, Trav, with the story of my son almost dying this weekend, or last weekend, why don't we move on to the podcast at hand? Let's
do it.
All right. In production of this podcast, I used a few articles this time around. One from ScreenRant.com, that was by Matthew Thomas. Another one from MentalFloss.com, that was by Roger Cormier. We've heard from Roger before. And one from Crack.com, and that was Brian Van Hooker. So thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks, guys. And, of course, we are doing Ace Ventura, Pet Detective from 1994 today. It was directed by Tom Shattuck, screenplay by Jack Bernstein, Tom Shattuck, and Jim Carrey, story by Jack Bernstein, produced by James G. Robinson, starring Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura, Sean Young as Lieutenant Lois Einhorn / Ray Finkel. Spoiler alert, but you should know that by now. Courtney Cox is Melissa Robinson. Tone Loc as Emilio. Dan Marino as himself, and Cannibal Corpse as themselves. Hey, Sean Young, funny story about Sean Young. She wanted to be Catwoman really, really bad in Batman Returns. So much so that she went on Jay Leno. It might have been David Letterman. I think it was David Letterman in full Catwoman garb and basically begged Burton? Tim Burton to cast her. It did not work.
It did not work,
obviously.
And I'm happy for it.
Obviously. So interesting story about Sean Young. It was released February 4th, 1994. It had a budget of $15 million and had a box office of $107.2 million. That is $229.7 million in 2025. And of course, with this episode, this brings to close our 1994 Jim Carrey trilogy.
Yeah.
If you were to rank these movies, we'll rank it right now. Rank his 1994 Jim Carrey trilogy.
1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, The Mask.
Really?
Yep.
See, I would put Ace Ventura last.
Really?
I would put Ace Ventura last. I think Dumb and Dumber is the clear front runner. That is like a comedy classic for all ages.
Yeah.
You could probably do a toss-up between The Mask and Ace Ventura, but The Mask, for some reason, I think I get more laughs out of.
Sure.
I think I do.
I love The Mask, and I love the second Ace Ventura better.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll see when we get to that.
All right, we will get to that. Trav, should we get to the breakdown?
Let's break it down.
Let's break it down. All right, so our movie opens on a delivery guy delivering a package for HDS. We decided that HDS stands for Home Delivery Service.
Sure.
All right.
That's
why
about
not?
the only thing it could.
that package was marked fragile.
Yes, it was.
At least it was fragile.
Yeah.
It's all very funny. He's just destroying that package.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of goes to show, like, a little bit of Ace's demented side.
Right.
There's zero reason for him to, like, publicly defame a delivery service in this world, right?
Yeah.
There's zero reason for him to be just destroying this package in an HDS uniform.
This is how little he cares about humans in comparison to animals. I'll take this whole company down. I don't give a shit. I'm getting that Shih Tzu.
He could have very easily just brought the package to the door unharmed and it had been fine.
Yeah. Was it being broken making it easier to steal the dog?
I guess it creates a little bit of a distraction.
I guess.
A little bit of a distraction. Personally, the elevator bit for me is the best in this where he's sorry.
3 times in a row.
Those elevator doors close very hard too.
Yeah, they do. Just in 2 seconds. There's no way.
Plus the soccer bit in the hallway, that's very funny too.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one a lot too. Ace does make it to the door.
How are you today, sir? Allrighty then.
Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir. I bet it was something nice, though.
Did you notice that actor's black eyes?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting. Those black eyes were real. The character was portrayed by real-life boxer Randall Tex Cobb.
Okay.
On the movie's commentary track, it was revealed he showed up on set with those shiners, and it was decided that they fit his role.
Nice.
There you go. That's why he's got black eyes. He's a real boxer.
That's cool.
Then we see that puppy.
That's a lovely dog you have there, sir. Mind if I pet him?
I don't give a rat's ass. Oh, God, that guy. The real target of our delivery guy is that dog. The old switcheroo, and Ace is off with that dog.
Yep.
He even left a dummy dog.
Perfect.
Like, are you kidding me? Hey, get away from that door. I love the card on the collar. You've been had by Ace Ventura, pet detective. Like, why even do that?
Doesn't need to be on there.
It does not need to be on there.
That was a close one, ladies and gentlemen.
Unfortunately, in every competition, there must be a loser.
Le-who, there. You hungry, fella?
You hungry fella is a line that I use to this day. I use it with Cameron.
I was going to say, you must use it on Cam.
Oh, boy. Ace gets his windows smashed out.
You want to give me a push back there?
He does not.
Alrighty then.
So the catchphrase "alrighty then" came from a little bit of a surprising place. In a moment that was addressed by director Tom Shattuck in the movie's commentary track, the line was one of several that Carrey designed specifically to be quotable for the movie.
Nice.
However, he made it also clear that some of Carrey's ideas failed. He also hoped that the motion he made with his hands, the two-finger or whatever, while saying "alrighty then" would become popular. It did not.
It did not.
"Alrighty then" certainly took off, though. It was is that the catchphrase of 1994? Alrighty then.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Maybe smoking.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of them,
he
right?
does.
Smoking? I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Ace, he ditches that guy, and now that car window is smashed for the rest of the movie. Ace, he returns the dog and gets a reward.
Yeah.
A blowjob.
Yeah.
PG-13, anyone?
Yeah. It's definitely the first giant red flag that it probably wouldn't be PG-13 nowadays.
Man.
People are real friendly around here.
He's just getting whipped around. That lady was very into it, I guess. Over to the Dolphin Stadium, and someone is stealing a dolphin. The next day, and we're at Ace's apartment, we do see in that scene that the person stealing the dolphin gets their hand smashed against the side of the tank, so that's where the stone falls out. It's not explicitly shown that stone is at the bottom of the pool.
No.
But the little bit of, makes it more believable, I guess. His superintendent, Hector Salamanca, thinks that Ace has animals in his apartment. Ventura!
Yes, Satan?
Ace is behind on the rent, but he's hot on the case of a lost pigeon worth $25,000.
No big deal.
Yeah. If Ace does not have an animal in his apartment, then what was all that pet food for?
Fiber.
I love how he just jiggles that lock, and that's the sign.
That's the sign.
Yep, he's got them all very, very well trained. Ace enters the apartment, and all the animals have been hidden. So,
bye-bye then.
And with a single whistle, all the animals emerge from everywhere.
Come to me, my gentle friends.
So his fridge has a doggy door in it.
Yep, for penguins.
In the freezer for penguins. When the camera pans when his superintendent is going through, wouldn't he be like, "Why is there a doggy door in the freezer?"
Definitely. That's the one obvious red flag. Okay, I don't see anything, but he clearly smells something, and there's a doggy door on his freezer.
And
there's no way any other apartment has that.
No, and let's be honest, with all those animals in his apartment, it would smell pretty bad.
Horrible.
It would smell pretty.
He has a raccoon and a squirrel. And he has an otter in the goddamn toilet.
So Jim Carrey, he based all his movements in this movie on birds.
Nice.
Interesting,
that
right?
Makes sense.
It makes sense.
That definitely makes sense.
He revealed that when he appeared on Inside the Actor's Studio while preparing to make Pet Detective, he observed birds and based his movements in the film on them. Why do you think he was like, what was his logic leap? I'm going to watch birds, and I'm going to model this character's movements.
Some serious method acting going on.
Serious method acting.
That is to the extreme.
To the very much extreme. Back to the stadium. How in the hell do you lose 100-pound fish?
It's a mammal, sir.
It's important to get that dolphin back for the Super Bowl, and they got a 2-week deadline. So there you go. We got a deadline in the movie.
Yeah.
A little bit of plot there for you.
It's the Pro Bowl.
They want that fish back on the field for the Super Bowl. Martha, the receptionist, she recommends a pet detective. What? A pet detective. Thanks, but we better leave this to the professionals. He's actually very good. Pet detection is very scientific.
Yeah.
Okay. Flash to Ace, and he has his eyes on that $25,000 pigeon. He ends up falling off a building into some trash. He's perfectly unharmed because it's a movie.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's fine. Although I do have to say, I'll give Jim Carrey some props. It looked like he really kind of gave himself quite the fall there. Obviously, it wasn't from the roof of the building.
Yeah.
But he really committed to that fall, if you ask me. So Ace's beeper goes off in that pile of trash, and he's headed to the stadium. There's a case to be cracked. What do you think his beeper said? 911 pet? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I love how he just flies. I love how he just flies in there in his car.
Like a glove.
That's another. I don't know, man. You might be convincing me that this is movie number 2. It might be more quotable than The Mask. It might be more quotable. Inside the offices, Melissa, she meets Ace. Did you have any trouble getting in?
No, the guy with the rubber glove was very gentle.
Hey, get this. Lauren Holly, she auditioned for Melissa. So she was the love interest in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, nice.
So they met during this audition, and then they got married in 1995, Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly.
That's pretty sweet.
That is pretty sweet. So they were married from 1996 to 1997, so it didn't last very long.
Not so sweet.
And obviously, Courtney Cox. And obviously, Courtney Cox landed the role of Melissa, because otherwise we wouldn't be talking about her.
Slam dunk.
Ace gets the lowdown on Snowflake the dolphin. He's wildly aggressively eating sunflower seeds in her office. Would you like an ashtray?
I don't smoke. It's a disgusting habit. They're all over in his teeth like Oreos.
All over. Rick Moranis was the first choice for Ace.
All right.
Could you have seen it?
I mean,
it would have been so much more subdued, right?
Yeah.
It would have been like way more of a nerdy character, probably.
Right. I could see it, but I don't think he'd be following birds for how to do his movements in the movie.
No, he probably would have just done his nerdy stuff that he used to always do. Producers also considered several other actors, including Judd Nelson.
All right.
I could see it. It would have been a more gritty, more angry version of Ace, probably.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman.
All right.
Sure. Why not? And David Alan Grier.
All right.
I could see it. On top of that, they contemplated giving the part to a famed actor and comedian named Whoopi Goldberg. The acting that Whoopi Goldberg has done, I'm a fan of. Like, Jumping Jack Flash is an interesting movie that she's in, where like kind of a tech comedy, mystery, thriller type of thing. So I could maybe see her playing the role of this, but it would have been such a different movie. Such a different movie. So we're out on the football field now, and Ace is investigating, and he's strangely accurate with his investigation.
Yeah.
He came recommended by Martha Metz.
Oh, yeah. The bitch.
What? Ace heads over to the tank, and he gets in.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
He does his best Captain Kirk and some of the other characters from Star Trek, the original series also. That is a bit lost on today's kids by far, right? You could maybe get away with only Captain Kirk, but if you're doing Spock and you're doing Bones from the original Star Trek series, if you're showing a 14-year-old today, a 14-year-old was born in 2011.
Right.
They're not going to get that reference whatsoever.
Definitely
not going to get that reference. Watch out. The press is there, and they are overly concerned with the dolphin. They need footage of Snowflake's new trick. They are really concerned about this dolphin.
Yeah.
You'd think that they'd be more concerned about the football game, but no, they got to get that dolphin. New trick. And Ace is being an actual detective and finds that loose gem in the filter. So over to the police station. Hey, Ventura, you make any good collars lately? Or were they just leashes? Oh, boy. And then Ace's ass has some questions for Tone Loc. His name is Emilio in this movie, but I can only refer to him as Tone Loc because he's only being Tone Loc as a police officer.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Einhorn is on her way down in Emilio Tone Loc. He is very concerned with Ace being in the police station. Ace's ass cannot contain itself, so Emilio gives in and tells Ace all the info he has, which really isn't very much.
Thank you for your cooperation. Do you have a mint? Perhaps some banaka?
Can you buy banaka today? I haven't seen it in a checkout line in 20 years.
No.
30 years. Who knows? Did you have banaka when you were in grade school or high school?
Not that I remember.
Oh, man. When I was in like 5th grade, you had to have banaka. It was the hottest thing ever. You know, the spray breath mint stuff.
Yep.
And it got so bad, everybody had it, that it was banned from 5th grade. You couldn't have banaka at school.
I wonder if he uses banaka in Dumb and Dumber.
He does.
That's what it is?
That's what that is. I would assume that's what that is. So at the time of production, Tone Loc was actually the biggest star in Pet Detective.
That's crazy to think.
It's kind of easy to forget how popular he was in the 80s and 90s due to releasing songs like Wild Thing and Funky Cole Medina. Find those songs out there, kiddos. They're jams.
Yeah.
Other than that, his biggest claim to fame is his supporting role in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Nice.
How would you like to be, like, Tone Loc is the most famous person in that movie at the time.
Yeah.
And now he's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere
to be found. I'm sure he's got a great life and is probably laughing all the way to the bank.
Oh, yeah. Probably made awesome investments.
Enter Einhorn.
Holy Testicle Tuesday.
She despises Ace. We'll find that porpoise. Listen, pet dick, how would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, Lois. Your number is still 911. Allllrighty then.
And then smash cut over to the Cannibal Corpse concert.
That is an awesome smash cut, though. Seriously,
There's only one reason that this is in the movie is because Jim Carrey, that was his favorite band at the time,
That's
and he's
awesome.
like, I want Cannibal Corpse in this movie. Okay.
Hey. It adds for a very funny scene because he looks so out of place.
I love his dance when he's in there, when he's just doing his little dance that he's got. I love that so much.
Excuse me, is Greg here?
And then that guy's just banging his head, so he takes that as a yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Turns out there's a secret tech bay of some sort in this club.
Sure. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
This guy just lives down here.
It does. He's like the head of an eco-terrorist group, and he's in the basement of this club. Who is this guy? Does he own the club? I don't know. Password?
New England clam chowder.
The red or the white?
I never remember that one. White?
Yeah, he's correct. It is the white. I really don't get why an anti-whaling eco-terrorist group is in the basement of this club. I don't understand that at all.
There is no logical rhyme or reason.
There really isn't. Ace gets all the info on our number one suspect, Ronald Camp, a billionaire and fish collector. That's an interesting line. A billionaire and fish collector. He just happens to be connected to the Dolphins, and he's throwing a party. Sounds like a plot point.
Yeah. Looks like it's time to get myself a date.
And he does. His date is Melissa at this party.
Permission to come aboard, sir?
Ace is just being his lovely self at this party. He's sticking out like a sore thumb. Ace and Melissa, they talk to Ronald. This is my date. He's a lawyer.
Tom Ace. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Camp. You smell wonderful.
I love how Ace sows the chaos with the food poisoning stuff. Yeah. There's no, it's all part of his thing to just get away.
Just
basically.
Literally throws it in his face that he can make a whole practice off of this. How's everyone feeling tonight? Like he's trying to set him up.
Just set him up. Oh man, that's very funny. All part of his plan to just get away from them, I guess.
Just keep Ronald busy. Excuse me, Ron. I need to use the bathroom. It's probably the bad day. That stuff looks better on the way out.
Cue the Mission Impossible music, and Ace is in the bathroom exiting out a window. Funny stuff.
Super funny.
Very, very funny. He's
hopping the fence for no reason.
No, he's doing all those bits and gags for himself.
Oh, yeah.
And the audience. But if you take it as we're viewing what he's doing, and he doesn't know there's an audience. Yeah. He's doing all that stuff for himself.
Definitely.
I love that. I love when he clings to the wall. That's the coup de grace right
Definitely,
there. He's clinging to I love that so much. Ace gets into a back room and finds a giant water tank. It's gotta be our dolphin.
Gravy. Yummy.
It was not Snowflake. It was a shark. Ace Ventura is dead.
Movie over. Smash cut. Back to Cannibal Corpse.
His reaction when the shark breaches the water is pretty priceless.
It's not Snowflake. It's not Snowflake.
Ace eventually emerges from the bathroom. There's a line waiting for him.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Ace and Melissa, they leave very quickly from the party.
If I had been drinking out of the toilet, I might have been killed.
So what do you think his explanation for was why he came out there? You would think that he would need to have given some sort of explanation.
Yeah.
Like, what happened in there? Yeah. I don't know.
My pants got caught in the toilet. They're just shredded.
And I guess that shark only had a taste for pants because his legs are fine. His legs are fine, totally, even though he was getting tossed around that
literally thrashed from side to side of that tank.
Thrash. Ace shakes, then kisses the hand of Ron, all to look at the 1984 AFC Championship ring that he has.
Doing?
All because of that gem from earlier. Ron checks out, though. The ring is complete. If Ace finds the ring with the missing stone, he'll find Snowflake. And how is he going to do that? Simple. He's going to track down everyone from the team and look at their rings.
Yeah.
Because every one of them are going to be wearing their rings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Cue a montage.
And they all live in the area.
They all live in Miami still. A ring-looking montage. That's one of the more interesting montages that we've gone through.
Because we're talking a 10-year hiatus from this championship team in current time. But they're all still in the area.
They all live in Miami.
Yep.
Every last one of them.
Every last one of them.
And they all wear their rings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Almost all of them are still in shape.
Yep.
Sure.
Did you recognize any of those football players? Because they were real football players.
Other than Dan Marino. No,
right.
No.
I didn't take time to look up who they were, but I was just like, none of those guys are really that famous.
Yeah, like other than old highlight footage, I wouldn't say I started super paying attention till 98 for the Vikings.
For sure, yeah. I have no idea who those people were either. For a montage, it's got some pretty funny bits.
Oh, yeah.
Antagonizing one of the players to give him the finger. Perfect. Yep. I'm going to give him the middle finger that he's wearing that ring on. Hiding in a mailbox and grabbing Don Shula. I recognize Don Shula as well. And Don, he's just surprised by it and then just walks away.
Then walks away, sure.
The arm wrestling bit, that was pretty funny.
That's a good one.
He gets tossed across the room. Getting punched in the shower.
Probably my favorite one. Counting the missing or the beads on his head.
The smile on his face when he bends over to take that punch is very funny because he's just like, here we go, we're taking that. Looking at some Wang in the bathroom.
Yep. That doesn't go as expected.
That guy was unexpectedly interested.
Yeah.
And the best one was the different tries on the track. Ultimately, Ace chloroforms that guy. It takes 3 times. It's like a montage within a montage.
Right,
it's like a double montage. All that work, and Ace was very unsuccessful. All the rings were complete. So, needless to say, Ace is pretty disheartened at that. Melissa and Ace, they have a little heart-to-heart back at her place. You don't know how to express your anger.
Yeah, you're ugly.
He's so hostile to her.
So hostile.
I'm not even going to talk to you. Would you please leave?
Why? So you can beat him? Fatty?
I didn't understand my first watch through. Beat who? Who's the dog?
The dog.
Talking about the dog.
He's miserable.
Hiring you was the biggest mistake I ever made.
Well, why don't you cry about it, saddlebags?
Ace does have a change of heart, and he goes to apologize. But Melissa's coworker, Roger Podacter, from the beginning of the movie, the head of operations, he killed himself by jumping out a window.
Sure.
Seems kind of weird, and she's not that surprised by it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Roger, I'm sad, but
Right.
I'm not going to shed a tear, even
Not
though
going to shed a tear or
work with
say
this
that's
guy.
not like him at all.
Nope. This can be. He died. It was just a little bit weird. So that really dampens the mood a bit in the movie.
Yeah.
Somehow and some way, Ace gains access to the scene that is being actively investigated.
Yeah, sure.
And how does she even get in there?
Yeah.
She's not a police officer.
Exactly.
She works for the Dolphins, and they're just in
Sure,
there.
come on in.
Come on in. No big deal. We're just investigating this active crime scene.
Right.
Ace does not think it was a suicide.
Alrighty then.
He was murdered, all because of the balcony door.
Yeah.
His neighbor said that she heard a scream, but the balcony was closed when they got to the scene.
That door has double pane soundproof glass.
You gonna do the imitation of him sliding the door? That's one of the best bits. He's okay. So it wasn't really soundproof, right? That is just,
Right.
That is just a bit that Jim Carrey's doing, right?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
That's very funny. It was very, very funny. So there was no way that she could hear Roger scream. Ace leaves triumphantly.
Loser.
Ace and Melissa, they head back to the stadium and have some romantic lead up.
Yeah.
Yes. And we get to find out who Ray Finkel is from a picture on the wall.
Who the hell is that?
You don't know who Ray Finkel is? For someone that has books about the Dolphins in his apartment,
Yeah.
he has very little knowledge about the Dolphins.
Running completely off that picture.
And Ray Finkel missed the game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know who Ray Finkel is.
Come on. And you're from Miami?
And you're from Miami, and you have like Miami Dolphins paraphernalia in your apartment, including
Right.
books of the 1984 AFC Championship. That seems weird.
Definitely.
That seems weird. So over to the microfiche room, because they have a microfiche room at the stadium.
Yeah.
Look at some stories, read an article about Ray, to us, the audience, and now we all know who Ray Finkel is.
Yep.
So now it's time for Ace and Melissa to bang.
Obviously.
Sure, why not? Ace really gets around.
Yes, he does.
He really, really does. Definitely a weird scene.
Yeah, with
It's-
all the animals
it's
watching.
awkward, funny.
Right.
Oh my God. 3 times?
I'm sorry that never happened to me before. I must be tired. Okay, I'm ready again.
So shooting the sex scene at Ace's apartment apparently was not very easy. All the animals had to be chained to their positions, which seems a little like not very nice to those animals.
Yeah.
Courtney Cox remembered, but the squirrel would get loose and jump on the penguin. The penguin would bite the cockatoo, and soon all hell would break loose, and I'd find myself under the blanket with a macaw. And to top that all off, apparently Courtney Cox was afraid of like all the animals on the scene while they were shooting the movie.
Nice.
So I don't know. That's a weird scene.
It says including the monkey.
Including the monkey.
I know they all hated working with the monkey on Friends. Apparently he was a super pain in the ass.
Same monkey?
Same breed.
Could it have been the same monkey?
It could have been.
I didn't look into it. I didn't even think about it. But like the time.
Ross has the monkey in season 1 or 2,
So
which
that's
is
like
94, 95.
It
so
would-
it's very possible.
There can't be very many monkeys working in Hollywood that are that breed.
Probably not.
So maybe it's the same one.
It could be.
Look it up yourself, listener. Ace goes to Ray's childhood home. It's really run down and spray painted.
Hi, I'm looking for a Ray Finkel
Insert gun in face.
and a clean pair of shorts.
What do you know about Ray Finkel? Ace knows a bunch.
A bunch. He rambles and rambles and rambles. And in his last little breath, one hell of a model American.
So, masquerading as a fan, Ace gets invited into the Finkel home. Ray's mom is a few linemen short of an offensive line, you could say. Right?
Yes.
Turns out Ray escaped from a mental institution. According to Ray's mom, it was all that Dan Marino's fault. He didn't hold the ball laces out. Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son? Die of gonorrhea.
Yikes.
Of all the things to die of.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can die of gonorrhea.
I don't know.
I've never had gonorrhea, so I don't know.
Not exactly an expert in that.
So, up to Ray's room we go, and it looks as if a crazy man was living there. I can see why he
Yes.
was committed.
Yes.
Complete with the film of Super Bowl 17 queued up. He blew that 26-yard field goal. It's just queued up, ready to go.
Yeah.
Queued up, ready to go.
Like he watched it and cried or got angry and
Yep.
then rewound it so that it's ready to go right away.
His tears, I gotta rewind this.
Yeah, rewind this for next time.
Ace calls Melissa and tells her about the danger that Dan Marino is in. So Ace speeds back to Miami at this point. Dan gets abducted from a commercial shoot. What is this, a rewrite? And then those guys are just like, shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. So it's time for a car chase and a gun battle and a comedy.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
Including Ace catching a bullet in his teeth.
Love it.
I remember that bit from the preview for the trailer for this movie, him catching that. And it's like, if you see that in the trailer, I believe that kind of like leads you astray of what this movie is really about.
Definitely.
That's the only gunplay in this whole movie.
Right.
I guess there's a little bit at the end, the
end,
very end.
Still.
Then Ace, he fatally rolls his car and is crushed because he's hanging out the window. Not the case. Ace is still in the chase. Ace confronts Einhorn in her office. You better get out of here by the time I get out of the bathroom.
Number 1 or number 2? I just want to know how much time I have. By the way, I solved that pesky Snowflake Predactor Marino thing. Have you ever heard of Ray Finkel?
Well, that got her attention. Make it quick, Ace. Ace tells her what he has deduced. Ace visited Ray's home and bedroom.
Cozy if you're Hannibal Lecter.
So he references Hannibal Lecter.
In every movie.
Every movie.
In every possible movie.
Every movie.
And also, when Lois goes into the bathroom, she either only washes her hands or she pees standing up without washing her hands.
I think that's why. I think that's a subtle hint, honestly.
Right,
I thought the same thing.
Right.
I think that's a subtle hint, like purposely done, because it was very quick.
I think it's a subtle hint. Lauren watched it for the first time ever with me, and she was like, so she only washed her hands? And I had to just be quiet.
No, they should have done, like, you should have been able to hear the pee stream or something like that. That would have been pretty funny, but that would have been a little bit too on the nose, probably. Ace pins the whole ordeal on Finkel, and that turns Einhorn on.
Sure.
Seduction is her game now.
Your gun is digging into my hip.
That's not her gun. Ace spurned her advances.
Down, boy.
That's a boner joke.
That's a boner joke.
Ace heads to Melissa's. You have to commit me. So that's what they do. So they can get a look at the stuff that Finkel left at the mental institute instead of just going to the police and being like, can you guys get a warrant so we can get that stuff out of the mental institute? They probably could have just gone there and been like, hey, can we look at that stuff? And they'd probably been like, yeah, sure, why not? But nope, he's got to get committed.
I'm ready to go in, coach. Just give me a chance. I'm going to execute the button hook pattern in super slow-mo.
Great bit.
Let's see that in instant replay.
He even, like, when he does the instant replay and he ends up back,
perfect.
It's like perfect. When he's back on the couch, it like even has the same, like, the lines are split up. Like, he does it like perfect.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. All this sequences in the movie is to give us more of that zany Jim Carrey magic. He really slammed his face into that bench, right?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the audio used on it was the actual audio recorded on the day that he slammed his face into that bench.
I think so, too.
He took it like a champ. Ace finds the stash of Finkel's stuff, that Die Dan Die crochet, and the diary. Laces out over and over and over.
Obsessed much?
Ace almost gets busted and tries to hide in that box.
Yeah,
doesn't really work
I
very
love
well.
that bit, though.
And the guy just steps in there like halfway, never looks into the room, and then exit.
Yep.
Just so that box just busts open, and then Ace finds the paper with the true identity of Lois Einhorn. She's a missing hiker, and Finkel assumed her identity. Ace starts to put it all together. So Ray Finkel took the identity of this Lois Einhorn, became the lieutenant of the Miami police force.
A missing person.
That is hard to believe.
Very hard to believe.
Like, did she go to school as Lois Einhorn to become a police officer and then work her way up from being a beat officer all the way to the lieutenant?
Come on.
Like, that's a stretch.
This has happened in 10 years.
Yep, in 10 years.
In a 10-year span. Sure.
Sure.
Holy shitballs.
The plot thickens. Einhorn and Predactor were in a relationship. So what's going on?
Finkel and Einhorn. Finkel and Einhorn. Finkel and Einhorn. Finkel and Einhorn.
Then the light bulb moment. The long dog hair on the photo of Finkel. Ray Finkel, in that photo, is Sean Young in a wig and a fake mustache.
Nice.
That's interesting. It looks nothing like her, But on the movie's commentary track, it says that Sean Young put a wig on and a fake mustache to play the character in the NFL photo.
That's funny.
I don't know if I believe it. It looks nothing
It doesn't
like her.
No, it doesn't.
Nothing.
That's it. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Einhorn is a man? Oh my God, Einhorn is a man.
Ace has a hard time processing that information. Well, that's over with. He goes and tails Einhorn out of the police station to locate to the location of Snowflake and Dan Marino. Einhorn is smacking Marino around, especially in the nuts.
Yeah,
really likes smacking those nuts
Loves
around.
them nuts.
And then kisses him.
Mm-hmm.
I love when Ace infiltrates using the dinghy, gets in, gets that little personal fan out, moves 3 feet, and then gets out.
Yeah. Lovely party. Pity I wasn't invited.
Ace takes out those 2 goons and goes to aid Dan, but not before Einhorn has them at gunpoint.
Yep.
A little more gunplay. And she tells the police that Ace is the culprit. And before Einhorn kills Dan and Ace, she's going to kill the dolphin. Just cold-blooded, I got to kill that dolphin. Distracted by a replay of the kick that Finkel missed because they had to bring 4 TVs.
4 TVs to keep playing that.
Hook it up to a VCR.
Sure.
Let's do it. Ace takes this as an opportunity to knock the gun away, and they fight. A very good comedy movie fight. I really liked it. Having a little trouble with the lady Ace.
You don't understand. She's a whore.
Finally, the rest of the police arrive. And Ace reveals the truth to everyone. Oh, and Melissa puts a gun to Tone Loke's head. For no reason.
For no reason. She's not Lois Einhorn. She's Ray Finkel. She's a man.
He's lying.
Well, let's just see here. Would a real woman be wearing one of these?
He pulls her hair. It does not go well.
Boy, that's really on there. Well, tell me this. Would a real woman be missing these?
Ace tears open her shirt. She has boobs. Tone Loke can't believe it.
Yeah.
He cannot believe it.
Well, that kind of surgery can be done over the weekend. But I doubt very much he could find the time in his busy schedule to get rid of big old Mr. Kanish.
So he rips her skirt off.
Yeah.
There's no dong.
No dong.
Tone Loke really can't believe it at this point.
Oh, boy.
So Marino summons Ace over and points something out to Ace. New evidence.
If I am mistaken, if the lieutenant is the woman she claims to be, then, my friend, she is suffering from the worst case of hemorrhoids I have ever seen.
It's a tuck job.
It's a tuck job.
Tone Loke definitely can't believe that one. They just keep flashing back to Tone Loke, and he's just like, huh? What?
That's why Roger Protector is dead. He found Captain Winky.
Line of the movie, he found Captain Winky. I mean, that's honestly
pretty good.
It's pretty good. Everyone starts spitting because I guess Lois really got around. It's a pretty funny bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's very insensitive by today's standards.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is pretty questionable by today's standards, but it's still, for a movie of its time, you can still get the comedy out of it.
And is the dolphin just splashing, or did it also kiss Lois Einhorn? Because it flashes to the dolphin in the montage like it's wiping its mouth as well.
I forgot about that. I think she must have also made out with the dolphin.
Must have.
Lois charges at Ace with a piece of glass.
Quick decision.
He dumps her in the water.
Loser.
Dan and Ace, they ride off together. Hey, Ace, you got any more of that gum?
That's none of your business, and I'd like you to stay out of my personal affairs.
That's such a good... Explain to me the gum.
Yeah.
He was jamming gum into his mouth earlier in the movie. Explain to me the gum.
I don't know, to get the taste out of his mouth that he reimagined from kissing her.
That's what it is. See, my brain, I thought it's because he sticks his head out the window, so his mouth is full of bugs.
It could be that.
But I think yours is more right.
Because he uses the gum in the second movie, too.
He does.
We'll
I think you're more right. I believe that you're more right. That's for sure. You're a weird guy, Ace. Dan Marino suits up for the second half of the Super Bowl. That's a thing that he could probably do, right?
Yeah.
Get to the Super Bowl in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think the Super Bowl probably would be canceled if the star quarterback, Dan Marino, giant NFL star in general, is missing?
Probably.
The game would probably stop.
I'll tell you one thing, they would not be in the game at halftime.
No,
enough that
definitely
he
not.
could come in and save them. Because they did not win in real life as well.
They did not win, no. Ace, he gets the girl and spots that $25,000 pigeon, but the Eagles mascot ruins it.
You just cost me $25,000, Polly.
Blow me.
Really?
So Ace fights the Eagles mascot, because what else? What? They're on the Jumbotron, and we get a freeze frame of Ace in mid-punch.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
So interestingly enough, Ace is probably a pretty polarizing figure, right?
Yeah.
In 2008, Empire magazine named Ace Ventura the 59th greatest movie character of all time.
Boom.
That's pretty high praise of all time. 2 years earlier, on the UK website lovefilm.com, a poll of 5,000 people voted him as the 4th most annoying character ever. So it seems appropriate. He can be both, right?
I guess.
He can be both. Oh, roll them credits, Trav. What did you think of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? Did you like it?
Love this movie.
Of course.
I got it on VHS, so it's one of the ones I've seen a lot, let's say. But I assume you also liked it?
Oh, absolutely. Ace Ventura is one of those movies that just makes me think of being a kid. You know, it puts me back in that mind space of a movie I watched when I was 10 years old.
Yep.
If I remember right, I remember watching this movie at a sleepover with some friends, and Tom fast-forwarding through the sex scene that you don't see anything with, and then also stopping the movie when Lois gets flipped around and you can see a penis. Because you can see a penis.
You can see a penis.
I remember him stopping the movie. Like there's like a minute left of the movie.
Right.
It's just kind of funny. I remember him stopping that
It's
movie.
over. That's it.
It's over. That's it. No more wangs, please. Oh man. But you know, it's just one of those movies where I don't know if you could consider this one, for me, I don't know if I would consider it a timeless classic comedy, but it's definitely like should be recommended viewing if somebody's looking, hey, I want a comedy from the 90s.
Yeah.
You should be saying, go see Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Definitely.
Like you said, you like the second one better.
Yep.
I've seen the second one far less than this one.
Ooh.
I bet you I've seen the second one once or twice in my lifetime, and it's probably been close to 30 years since I've seen it. So
you're in for a treat.
I can't wait to see it. Obviously, I remember him coming out of the fake rhino.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee
obviously.
Tuna.
Yeah,
Bumblebee Tuna.
Chicago.
All right, Trav, do you have anything else you want to say about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Nope.
All right. With that out of the way, why don't we talk about our next homework assignment? We are doing Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Sorry, Ryan, who already said, I can't believe you did the first Mortal Kombat before Street Fighter. We're on to the second one before Street Fighter.
The second one.
So sorry about that, Ryan.
That's not even on our list.
It is not, but I own it on Blu-ray now.
We should probably get that on our list.
Yeah.
All right, Mortal Kombat Annihilation was directed, because you have to say it that way, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. Was directed by John R. Leonetti, screenplay by Brent V. Friedman and Bryce Zabel, story by Lawrence Kasnoff, Joshua Wexler, and John Tobias. Based on, those names seem all very familiar, like they were directly involved with the first one. Like I'm almost 100% sure that John R. Leonetti directed the first one as well.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Based on Mortal Kombat by Ed Boon and John Tobias, produced by Lawrence Kasnoff, starring Robin Shou as Liu Kang, Talia Soto as Kitana, James Remmer as Raiden. So no, I can't remember the actor's name that played Raiden. I can't remember his name. Dang it.
Christopher something.
Ryan gonna be. Oops, sorry. Ryan is not gonna be happy about that because I can't remember his name. Sandra Hess as Sonya Blade. That's a new actress as well, unfortunately.
Yep.
Lynn Red Williams as Jax, who has a much larger role in this movie. Thank the Lord.
And he's from American Gladiator.
Oh yes, that's right. Reiner Schoen as Chinook. Musetta Vader as Sindel, Irina Panteva as Jade, Daron McBride as Motaro.
Also from American Gladiator.
Oh, that's right. Mary Jean Holden as Shiva, Lightfoot as Nightwolf. That's an appropriate casting. At least they actually cast a Native American person. American Indian. What is the appropriate term? Is it American Indian or is it Native American?
That I do not know.
I do not know. Chris Conrad as Johnny Cage, John Meldon as Ermac Mack, J.J. Perry as Cyrax, Scorpion, and Nude Sabat, Ed Boon as the voice of Scorpion, Tyrone Wiggins as Rain, Dennis Kiefler as Baraka, Ridley Sue as Smoke, Keith Cook as Sub-Zero, Dana He as Melina, Brian Thompson as Shao Kahn. Cinematography by Matthew F. Leonetti, edited by Peck Pryor. That's an interesting name. Music by George S. Clinton and not that Clinton, George Clinton. Production companies New Line Cinema, Threshold Entertainment, distributed by New Line Cinema. It was released November 21st, 1997, and at a budget of $30 million, a box office of $51.3 million. That's $101.5 million in 2025. So that's an overall successful movie.
Definitely.
Overall,
for this being considered a trash movie, that's really surprising, actually, that it made that much. That just proves how popular Mortal Kombat was when we were kids.
Very popular, very popular. All right, Trav, with that out of the way, why don't you hit me with that outro?
I'm going to hit you with something unexpected.
All right.
I need Drew to read the first email because I lost access to the email somehow.
Oh, son of a gun.
So I couldn't get logged into that, so you will have to read the one from Joe.
All right,
and we'll cut out all the nonsense.
Obviously, we will cut it out.
But I have to.
Bang, this is a big one.
Boom, holy cow. So, first email from a new listener here, actually. So my question for Drew and Trav are a couple for the pile if you run out of them, in no particular order. He says, 1, what movie or movies would you not suggest to anyone, and why?
I don't know if I would ever not suggest a movie to somebody.
No matter how bad it is, I almost want you to watch it to prove I'm not crazy.
Exactly.
Like, for example, sorry, Jake, but if someone was to say, should I watch Mars Attacks? I would say, it's bad, but you should watch it. Because I'd love to see if somebody watched that for the first time in 2025 and said, that was awesome.
That's a good example. To go off of that for just a half a second. Occasionally on Reddit, somebody will make a post about Mars Attacks, and I will always comment, like, this movie's bad.
Yeah, for real.
And I get destroyed
on
Reddit. People love that movie. I get destroyed on it. But
yeah.
I think that's a good example. I don't think I would ever suggest Best of the Best to anybody ever again.
Probably not.
I don't think I would.
No.
I think I would say if you're in the mood for a terrible movie,
sure,
then definitely watch it. But I don't think I would go out of my way to be like, Best of the Best!
You like martial arts movies? This is the first one you should check out. Nah. Next question on here is, what are your favorite snacks or drinks that don't exist anymore?
Well, drink is easy. I wish Surge was still around.
For sure.
I'd hammer me some Surge. And then I recently found this snack again, so it does technically still exist, but I haven't seen it in a very long time. You ever have those little, like, cookie-type koala guys that had strawberry or chocolate in them?
Yeah.
I didn't find them forever, and then all of a sudden they were in the ethnic foods aisle at the grocery store.
I feel like they were MIA for like 20 years, and then you could get them at the candy barn.
Yes.
And then now they're just, in the ethnic food section.
Yeah,
okay.
So that would be mine for sure.
For sure.
Yep.
I'd say the drink would be, even though I'm not a big Coke guy anymore, black cherry vanilla Coke was like my favorite drink growing up, and it was a limited time thing. I wish that was back, or a black cherry vanilla but snacks, most of the ones that I loved that left came back. Like, I love the Planters cheese balls, but those are back. I loved the Dunkaroos, but those are back. So I don't know about a snack that I don't love, or that isn't around anymore that I love.
That's interesting. How about game shows? That's in the email. What are your favorite game shows?
Like growing up, or
let's go pick one or two from growing up and then one or two now.
So for sure Bob Barker Price is Right.
Yeah, obviously.
And then either like super old Family Feud.
Ooh.
Or I liked a lot of the Family Feud, honestly. So I probably watched that the most.
Sure.
Those two.
Sure. So growing up, I would choose, obviously, Bob Barker's Price is Right, and then Press Your Luck is probably my all-time favorite game show from a kid. I just love the no whammy, big money, no whammy, big money.
Yeah.
I loved Press Your Luck.
And the Nickelodeon ones too. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
If we're counting those, then
I suppose we can.
Double Dare,
Nick Arcade.
Nick Arcade.
Nick
and the one where
Arcade.
you had to pick the door. I forget what the hell that's called again. But there's a bajillion different sized doors, and if you pick the right one, you get something awesome. If you pick the wrong one, you get slimed or something.
Man, that is a memory you've just unlocked. It wasn't What Would You Do? Not that one. I did like that one. That's not really a game show.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that has unlocked a memory. I'm going to have to try to find that one. Modern game shows for me, Jeopardy. I can watch Jeopardy all the time. Love me some Jeopardy. And I will go with Drew Carey, Price is Right. I still love Price is Right.
I'd say I still love Price is Right, and that's probably about the only game show I still watch now.
Price is Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So next part of this email is, all right, on to my brain dump of movies that I would suggest for viewing. The ones that I think might make a good rundown would be in no particular order: Nothing But Trouble, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Demi Moore. Guy gets pulled over and goes to court, and it gets weird from there.
That's a pretty dang good movie, and I actually saw a picture of that somewhere, and I was like, that would be a good one for us to do. That's a good movie.
Next one is The Craft. Teenage Wiccans discover they can use magic, and one goes nuts.
Never seen it, and definitely a 90s movie, a late 90s. I would say it's like a 97, 98-er, so
Sure.
that would definitely be able to do.
That's perfect if neither of us have seen it, because I've seen none of these. Spoiler alert, Joe, I've seen none of these that you're suggesting. The Explorers. Kids discover something that can and does send them to space, and they encounter aliens. Now, that sounds badass.
That's a movie that I saw as a child. I would say that's probably like a 1989-er. If it's the one I'm thinking of, they like build a spaceship in their house.
Nice.
And I think if I'm thinking of the right movie, I might not be.
Nice. Joe's Apartment. Joe, nice one. An MTV movie with cockroaches.
Never seen it, and I don't even remember anything about it.
Nice.
So that would be a good one to do.
I told him the more wild, the better. He asked. I said, pull something that no one ever heard of. Or whatever. Next one is Slums of Beverly Hills. This one has a few boobs and talks about sex, decent, and a chick tries out a vibrator for the first time. So, despite that, I think it'd be funny to talk about. Kind of ridiculous.
That's a pretty good movie. I've seen it a couple of times. It has Natasha Lyonne in it, as the from like Poker Face and from Russian Doll. You would recognize her. Natasha
Probably
Lyonne
be a
is
face
in it.
I'd recognize.
You would recognize her.
Mazes and Monsters, one of Tom Hanks' first movies, and during the D&D Satanic Panic, LARPers, and one starts to embody his character. Now, that sounds right up my alley.
Yes, I've never seen that movie, but I do remember hearing about it. I've never seen that movie, though. That'd be a good one.
Oh, and then I lied. I have seen this one, Joe. The Burbs, another classic Hanks. Definitely. Been a long time, but...
I think Joe might be a Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah, he might be. Just might be. Twilight Zone movie, maybe. 3 separate stories?
Yeah, there's 3 separate stories in it. It's a good movie. John Lithgow's in one of the stories.
Nice.
Which they redo the whole there's a gremlin on the wing or whatever.
Yeah,
that's from the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, Captain Kirk, his real name is
I can't think of it right now, but I know.
Oh, man. He played the character John Lithgow plays in the movie in the 1950s, doing the same thing with a gremlin on the wing of an airplane.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of his goddamn name, and that is
damn it.
Frustrating as hell.
Ryan.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun one to do, honestly. Twilight Zone movie.
Barbarians, maybe cheesy fantasy.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Some others off the top of his brain: Dragon Slayer, You're the Hunter of the Future, One Night at McCool's.
These are all striking out for me.
Wild Things, Cruel Intentions, Last American Virgin, Some Kind of Wonderful, Aliens Guy Vampire movie.
Okay.
Theodore Rex movie.
Ooh.
Friday, Big Money Pit, Goodfellas, The Stoned Age.
The only one I feel like Cruel Intentions might be 2000, but it might not. It also may not be. All of those are really, really good suggestions, and the only one of those that I've seen Friday, I've seen Cruel Intentions, I've seen Theodore Rex, Goodfellas. Other than that, and Money Pit.
And to prove that Drew has always seen more movies than me, I have only seen Friday out of that bunch.
Money Pit would be a really fun one to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Another Tom Hanks movie.
I know I've heard of Cruel Intentions and Wild Things. I feel like I remember the covers of those on VHS at the rental place. Shows, Freaks and Geeks. Now that I've seen. That's one of my favorites.
It's a
one-season banger with a bunch of super awesome actors. Should have had more seasons, but it doesn't.
I've only seen a handful of episodes. I have
Really?
not seen the whole season.
Yeah, it's really, really good, really good. Renegade, Hercules, that's another one I loved as a kid.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Xena, Warrior Princess. He didn't say that, but, I mean, he's thinking it. Xena, Warrior Princess.
Are you a Xena or a Hercules guy?
Like, which one do I like more?
Yeah.
Xena.
Xena,
For sure. I love Lucy Lawless, and she's in my favorite show, Spartacus.
I
so.
do love the bit of Kevin Sorbo as Hercules on the internet screaming disappointed. Have you seen that? Disappointed! As Hercules in an episode, the stage direction was for him to act disappointed.
Yeah.
But instead he read the stage direction while they were making the episode, and they just left it in there.
Nice.
So it has like nothing to do with what's going on, and he looks up and screams, disappointed! Very funny. Very funny.
Designing women.
That would be fun to do. I like designing women.
Coach.
That's a Minnesota-based comedy.
Yeah. 21 Jump Street. We
That'd be
talked
good.
about that before, right? Because
Yep.
Johnny Depp's in the show.
Correct,
Right? Because he
correct.
cameos in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The A-Team, Magnum P.I., little Tom
I would
Selleck
do
action.
some. Yep, I would do
That'd be
some
sweet.
Magnum P.I.
Simon and Simon. Not
Don't
to
know
be
that
confused
one.
with Pete and Pete.
Yep, don't know that one.
Night Court.
It's a favorite.
Quantum Leap.
Oof.
I feel like that's one that hits to you. for
Yes,
sure.
I would
I've
love some
heard of that, but
I
I've
would love
never
some
seen it. But
Quantum
I know I would like that. DuckTales. Empty Nest.
That would be good too.
Unhappily Ever After.
I don't know that one.
Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Cops.
Like, does he mean like the show Cops?
Like the show Cops? Because, I mean, that would be hilarious to watch. But I still remember one hilarious episode of that where the guy had the joint in his ear and the cop is asking if he smoked it all. And, no, sir, no. And then he just pulls it out from behind his ear. I don't know how that got there. And Captain N.
I don't know that one. I don't know
that
that one, no.
I like Joe's taste, though.
Yes.
He's got a lot of crazy
Yes.
options for us. So that was awesome. Anywho, good work on the podcast. Keep it up, fellas. Joe.
Thanks, Joe, for the email. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Joe.
I like the cut of your jib, Joe.
I like the cut of your jib.
You got some good ideas.
Him and I talked a little bit about Twilight Zone. I said that you've mentioned Twilight Zone before, and also Twin Peaks. Right?
Twin Peaks. I mean, we've done The Shining. I don't know if we could do Twin Peaks.
Sure.
I would really recommend that you watch Twin Peaks.
Sure.
But I don't know if we could do it. It's
sure.
David Lynch. I mean, we did. Every time I think about, I don't know if we can do that, I'm like, we did The Shining. We did a Kubrick film.
Yeah.
We can do a David Lynch series. But it just might be too boring for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it. Maybe we'll do like an extra credit on Twin Peaks.
So our next email is from Man Bear Pig. He says, just finished watching The Terminator, which is good because that was the last episode. And there's so many things I want to touch on, but I just want to mention two. What the fuck is up with the ending? When she drives off into the sunset, the entire backdrop is such bullshit. Could they not find a cloudy day to film it? The CGI is just terrible. Who the hell greenlit that? Probably the same guy that greenlit the dummy Arnold when he's messing with his eye in the mirror. Because it's like, why is that in the movie? It's very unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
Like, just pan away. Just pretend he's cutting it out. Don't show me the dummy.
Don't
that
show
doesn't
me
look
the
anything
dummy.
like Arnold.
Yeah.
And then they even put the glasses on the dummy,
The dummy.
before it's Arnold again at the glasses. So I would guess the same guy that greenlit that idea. Also, he says, I also can't not address it. Terminator pulls his eye out. He's at the cop station, and you can clearly see through his shades that he has two eyeballs.
Yes, you can.
Then later, he's back to one. What the fuck? Is there no oversight and quality control? The prosthetic head was also just too much. I wonder if people in 1984 couldn't tell the difference.
I don't know. If I'm sitting in a movie theater in 1984, I think I'd still look at that and be like, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. There's one dope. They're like, oh, that's Arnold. I know I've mentioned this to Drew before, but to all the Arnold fans out there, you have to indulge in a band called Austrian Death Machine. It's badass metal and all things Arnold.
He has mentioned that to me before, and when he did, I did go to YouTube and find some stuff on it, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, nice. He says, since you're doing Ace Ventura, my question for you, what is your least and most favorite animal, and what is your least and most favorite dog?
Least and most favorite animal. Man, I don't know. I used to be really into penguins as a kid. I don't know. I was really into penguins. I've always had cats growing up. Least favorite animal. I don't know. I'd probably say like snakes.
Snakes?
I don't like snakes.
Snakes?
I don't like snakes.
Not a big fan of tarantulas.
Least and most favorite dog. Least favorite dog, Cujo.
Cujo, you fucking psychopath.
Most favorite dog, the dog from Bingo. That's my most favorite dog.
Nice.
Another football movie.
Let's see. Least favorite animal. I mean, if I gotta pick, I'm probably gonna say something like a snake too. And it's not that I dislike snakes, but I'd never own a snake.
Negative.
So negative for sure. Favorite animal, if not the obvious answer of a dog, a monkey for sure. I think Ace Ventura and Friends made me love spider monkeys, and I love chimpanzees, and so monkeys. My least and most favorite dog. I say I love all dogs, but I don't think your poodle looks very cute. So I'm not a big poodle person, but I would still love your dog all the same if it was my friend's dog. But my favorite dog is a Frenchie. My dog, Dougie.
Duh. Douglas the Frenchie.
Cute boy. And then he says, you don't have to read this, but we're going to read it anyway. Mine are, number one, bears. Fuck bears all around. That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
Really good answer. I've never encountered one, but if I did, I'd probably say that's my least favorite animal.
Fuck bears.
Fuck bears. 2, wolf. It's a Terminator dog. Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
True.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For 3, he says, any dog that resembles a squirrel.
All
so
right.
He's not a big old fan of them chihuahuas and ankle
like
biters. And, makes sense. 4, Belgian Malinois. Must be a huge ass dog. Like a middleweight German Shepherd on meth and steroids. That gives me quite the visual.
That sounds intense.
That is one intense dog. All right. They are the honey badgers of the dog world, he says. Cheers.
Cheers. William Shatner.
William Shatner.
It came to me finally.
Okay. I thought you were maybe talking about the other one, but you were still talking about the old.
Yeah, the
Star
original
Trek. Okay.
original Captain
William
Kirk.
Shatner.
William Shatner.
Who you brought up in the episode.
Yeah.
But it slipped the mind.
I could not think of it. William Shatner.
All right, so that was badass. Thank you for those super awesome emails.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Feel free to email as often as you would like, which could be every single episode.
Please.
Every single episode. I still have a couple more for Drew. One is, when you were a kid, did you ever go to any home shows with your dad?
We used to go to card trade shows, I guess, and then the boat show when it'd be at the Madison East Mall. We'd go check out the boat show. Never had a boat, but we'd just go check out the boat show.
What could be?
We never had a boat, ever. We never went boating. We never did boat stuff, but we'd go to that damn boat show.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to card trade shows and stuff like that. We did some of that stuff, not a whole lot.
Sure.
How about you?
Yeah, we definitely did. We had boats, so my dad is a big fisherman for sure. But yeah, I don't know that home shows are fun, but New Ulm isn't fun in general. So I feel like it's either a testament to how boring New Ulm was or how much fun I had with my dad doing anything.
There you go.
But I remember going to a bunch of home shows and liking it.
Yeah.
I always had like mini donuts.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for mini donuts.
Who
you know what I'm
isn't?
saying?
Who isn't?
So yeah, a little home show action in my life. My last one here for Drew is, okay, you're 10 years old, you've got $5 to go to the gas station. It's Friday night, so there's no school in the morning. What are you spending that $5 on?
That $5 will get you pretty far in
1994?
1994. Definitely the twin pack of nerds, the box of nerds that are the grape and the strawberry.
Mix them, or do you eat them separate?
I eat them Well, I would. By the end, you got both flaps open, and you're just chugging those nerds, right? And the top of that box is just soaked with
saliva.
Spit. Definitely going to be getting a couple of things, a couple of 20-ounce pops that were like 89 cents or whatever. Probably a Coke and a Mountain Dew,
now
so
they're
you can
like
be caffeinated like crazy. Yeah, now they're like $2.89. Probably some jerky. If it was in the budget, you could probably get a stick of jerky for $1 or $2. That would probably put me right up there. But nerds were always the go-to for me.
Sure.
That was the first thing, the big box of nerds.
For sure.
Love them nerds.
Think I'd probably go, for sure, 20-ounce Mountain Dew.
Right.
Definitely a king-size Rice Krispie bar.
Ooh, nice.
Probably Hostess Cupcake 2-pack.
Ah, yeah.
And the last thing... Probably a full-size Milky Way.
Nice.
To top it off.
Full-size Milky Way.
In my head, that's like way over $5, but I don't remember $19.99. So I think that I probably still had some change left. I might have threw in a few Tootsie Pops.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you'd probably be really close to that $5 with that stuff. I would guess.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for emailing us. If you want to email us and haven't, or want to again, you can email us at podcast@overduehomework.com. Make sure you're following us on our socials, Facebook and Instagram at Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, make sure you tune in to the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.